Hey everyone, wanted to give you guys a quick recording of a new workflow we've been building out with one of our banks, specifically around the equity injection requirement of the SBA closing process. And so heard from several people about how gnarly of a process this is and how it can be very variable and hold up the closing cycle. So wanted to build out some features on our side to help teach our AI agent to actually go through and collect missing information specifically for the equity injection flow. And so go through a very basic setup right here. So what we have up front is a set of requirements. And so in this scenario, we are the SBA closer, and we see that we've got somebody coming through, we've talked to them, or we see within a credit memo that they say they're going to provide $100,000 at close. And this $100,000 is going to be split between $50,000 inside of their business bank account that they need to show they've got the last 90 days of history. And then they say they're going to bring in another $50,000 of gift. So maybe a family member or partner is giving them the extra $50,000 check here. So I'm going to add those two values here. I'm just going to click this trigger follow-up button. And while we wait for that email to send out, what's happened here is when I turned on these two fields, down here we have two separate sets of requirements, which is our business bank statements and our gift documents. And for each one of these, we built out a specific rule set. So what qualifies as valid for these business bank documents, or what qualifies as valid for these gift documents here. And when we get one of these sets of documents back from the borrower, we're going to run them against the rule sets and say, okay, does this match what we need on our end? And of course, there are another 20, 30 possible things that could go into the actual acceptable criteria for an equity injection, but just want to give you a basic overview here. So I'm going to click over to my email, and here I am as the borrower, our guy Matt McGinley here. And I get this email from loan closing. So next steps for equity injection review. We've got, hey Matthew, with OmniBank, asking for the $50,000 from a business account and then $50,000 via gift. So what it's asking for here is the last 3 months of business bank statements, as well as the 3 different documents that we marked as being required for the gift receipt. So I'm going to click into this secure portal right here, and what I see here is pretty basic, contact info, and then there's 2 requirements, the business bank documents and the gift documents here. So I could come in, I could upload the files that are required of me right here, and then submit, and this will work for the end-to-end process. But let's say that there's a change somewhere through here, and I come back and say, hey, Doug, here are the bank documents, but the gift fell through. Instead, I'm doing a seller note for the $50K. And then I'll just go and grab the bank statements, the business bank statements showing that $50,000. I'll send that over. Plus this, hey, we're changing the whole game here because we're switching away from the gift and going into a seller note. So now if we go back to the OmniAI admin view here and we click on this timeline, what we'll see is, okay, we came in as the admin here. We set these first 2 requirements, $50,000 on the bank account, $50,000 for that gift amount. And in a second, we'll see a message come in right here from our borrower. So here are the bank accounts, gift fell through, instead of doing the seller note for it closed for $50K. So right now what the agent's going to do is take a look at this email, open up all these documents. It's going to read through, see that these are bank statements, and run some of those validation checks. And I think the validation checks we've got set up for this are that it has to be a valid business bank statement, has to be in the borrower's name, and that we have to demonstrate that this $50,000 wasn't just moved into account yesterday. Instead, it was going to be something that we've had on the books for at least the last 90 days. And at the same time, if we look at our update checklist items here, we'll see here are the bank documents, but gift fell through. So we've actually added this new seller financing amount of $50,000. And then we've updated a note here saying, gift fell through, replaced with $50,000 note at close. And we also see some of these bank statements finishing processing, where we see we have a new document from this attachment, classified as business bank statement, summarize it, and we run it through these rules. So we see that the document does in fact have an ending balance of at least $50,000, matches the business name, and is a business bank statement. Going back to our application overview now, we'll see that things have been changed here. So we now have two separate requirements, the business bank account, and we see that this has gone green because we have 3 bank statements in here that are all valid. Our gift documents are no longer required, but down here we have a new section that's required, and that is our seller financing documents. So if I go back to my borrower's email, in just a moment, we should see a new email pop in here from the agent that is going to request that we now provide some additional data on that seller note. Go back to our timeline view. We can see when this email finishes being generated. So our agents come back with this drafted email. So it's actually waiting for us to send it an approval before going out. So I'll go ahead and click send here. And what it's saying is, thanks for the update on sending this in, received and reviewed, everything looks good. And then going back to our borrower's email, we've got our follow-up from loan closing here saying, to complete the equity injection review with the seller financing, please upload the following. And we've got purchase agreement, promissory note, and a standby subordination agreement. And once again, if I go back to our secure portal here, then what I'll see is we've actually dropped the gift requirement from here, and instead we're showing that the last 2 things we need are the business bank statements as well as the seller financing documents. And so I can come in here and, for instance, update a document for each one of these, maybe for the promissory note, drag and drop a file over here, then take our purchase agreement, drop it down here, and subordination agreement, and drop it over here. Click next. It's going to ask me to review everything that I've provided so far. These are still in the, going through the AI validation, but should be fine. So click submit, and we're right here. Everything is good and under review. Once the AI goes back and reviews the updated documents that have just been submitted, if there are any errors or any validation rules that have not passed, then we'll send a follow-up email to our borrower saying, okay, maybe this seller note needed some additional clarifications. But you can see right here that we can start off with initial set of requirements, and the AI can intelligently switch back and forth based on what we need, and for each type of requirement we get, independently validate that all the rules pass. So this is a brief demo. Obviously, there's a lot of additional configuration that can go into what qualifies as the equity injection requirement, but hope it's a good primer on what we can do.